Oh, sorry. Didn't see you there. My name's Gabe Feldinger, and you might remember me from such YouTube videos as Neo Nectar Ahsha Bloom deck profile or Angel Feather Gavriel Rescue deck profile. But you might also recognize me as the official Neo Nectar Clan leader. That's right. That's me. The one and only. And now I'm proud to announce my official clan leadership Neo Nectar deck profile. Let's get started. And now the deck profile. So first off, I'm running 2 copies of the starters, Peach Orchard Maiden Elmy. I'm running 2 because Ahsha's Stride skill lets you clone a rear guard, and if you have no rear guards to call, your starter's a good target since it has a GB ability, so you can't do it till you stride once anyways. And also, she just has a really good ability. What she does is GB1, if you have a Ranunculus Vanguard, move her to the soul, pick 1 unit so your Vanguard counts, search your deck for a copy of it, and superior call it, and at the end of the turn you can add that card to your hand. So it's really nice because it generates an advantage engine. It gives you, lets you re-trigger any bloom abilities you want to use. It lets you call a copy of Ahsha if it's your heart, so you can use it as stride fodder if you don't have any grade 3s or stride fodder in your hand. So she's a great card, and running her at 2, I really like. Next, I'm obviously running in this Ahsha deck 4 copies of Ranunculus Flower Maiden Ahsha, including the 1 secret rare. She's the main of the deck. She's amazing. I love her. She's GB2. All your rear guards gain 5k if there's at least 1 other copy of another card with the same name. So nice for power, and when you stride, as I said before, counter +1, search your deck for another copy of a rear guard, and superior call it. So it works really nice with the deck. I love it. She's great. So yeah, 4 of her. 4 copies of one of my favorite cards in all of Neo Nectar, Cornflower Flower Maiden Ines. She's an amazing card. She's GB1 Bloom, so when another copy of her is placed on rear guard, at the end of the turn, you move her to the bottom of the deck, check the top 5 cards of your deck for 1 card with the Bloom ability, add it to your hand, and then shuffle your deck. And then on red, counter +1, soul +1, check top 5 for a Bloom card, add to your hand. She's amazing because, well, 1, she combos great with Elmy because you call her with Elmy, then you get 2 searches off, which you could potentially see a PG, which is why you run the Bloom PG. But also she's really nice against control decks. She's a nice counter to them because she's going away at the end of the turn, so you have no rear guards to be affected. She's amazing against Link Joker because you're not going to have front row rear guards, so you can still attack. She won't be retired by Kagero or Narukami because she's leaving with a rear guard and going back to the deck. So at 4, she's a wonderful card. Next, I'm running 4 copies of Ideal Maiden Thuria, who's another amazing card. For her first ability is continuous. When she's placed on rear, pick a rear guard, and she gains that rear guard's name. So what makes this good is the fact that it's a continuous ability. Because it's a continuous ability, when she gets the name gain, Bloom abilities will trigger because she's being placed as that card. So any ability that would trigger a Bloom, you can use her and it will count because of that the continuous ability. And the name gain is also permanent. So however long it's on the field, it'll be regarded as that unit's name. And also, it gains the name of the card. So let's say you use her ability on Ines. You have Ines, you call her, you target Ines, so she becomes Ines. She is both Thuria and Ines. So you can, any card that says search your deck for a copy of a card and superior call it, if you have Thuria on the field, you can call Thuria or Ines because it counts as both. So that's just what makes her really good. And her other ability is at the beginning of your main phase, pick a card and drop with the same name as this card, so Thuria or a card you changed her into, shuffle that card from drop into deck, and then bounce this card, which is great for her ability because it lets you re-trigger her continuous, which lets you re-trigger Blooms, so running her at 4 is amazing. Next, I'm running 4 copies of Greenshot Elf, which is Bloom, GB1. When another copy of Elf is placed, all copies of Greenshot gain 2k and the ability to boost. So she makes really nice power plays because every call triggers and it stacks. So let's say you have Greenshot, you call a Greenshot, this triggers +2. You call another Greenshot, both of these triggers 4/4, or 6 because of the first one. Call another one, all 3 trigger, so 6/6, and then all the power. So she makes really great power plays, so I love running her at 4. She's a great card. Next, I am running 4 copies of Maiden of Gladiolus, which is the Amber clone on boost counterblast 1 clone to grade 2 or less rearguard. So I'm running it because there's honestly not many other grade 2s I really want to run. I don't really see much of a point in the 10k vanilla. Her ability still works really nice, so I still like to run her at 4. But I'm probably gonna replace her with one of with the new Bloom grade 2 in set 8, G set 8. But for now, she's nice. I use her ability from time to time, so I still like her over 10k vanilla. Onto the grade 1s, I'm running 4 copies of the Bloom PG Cherry Blossom Blizzard Maiden Lilga. Her, well, she's a PG, but her Bloom ability is Counterblast 1, whenever a copy of herself is called, bounce all copies of herself. So basically, if you want, what you can do is call her, use Ahsha's Stride skill, so Counterblast 1, call 1, and then Counterblast another one to bounce these 2, so you get a PG in your hand. So I like her because her ability is really nice. I rarely use her ability though. The main reason I use her is because she's a Bloom PG, and she's searchable with Ines's ability, which I love to recycle. So being able to recycle PGs is great. And thanks to cards that let me put stuff from drop into the deck, I PG on average 5 or more times a game just because it's so easy to search them, recycle them, and research them. So I like her at 4, she's a great card, and the deck isn't hyper counterblast heavy, so I don't really need a copy of the unflip one. Next, I'm obviously running 4 copies of the Stride Fodder, Valkyrie, Reclamation, Padmini. It's a G deck, it's a Stride Fodder. No need to say more. Next, I'm running 4 copies of Pure Maiden Katrina, which is effectively a grade 1 version of Greenshot Elf, so whenever Katrina's placed, all Katrinas get 4k. So I love her because she makes amazing power plays. They're honestly kind of better than Greenshot Elf because it's 4k over 2, so it stacks really quickly. So 7k, call plus 4, 11k, call, both trigger 8/8, so 15, 19. So the power stacks really quickly and it makes a really nice play, so I like to run her at 4. Onto the triggers, I'm running 4 copies of Cosmos Pixy Lizbeth, which in my original profile I was running Maiden of Daybreak, but somebody in the comments, I forgot the username, pointed out why to run Lizbeth, and they were completely right. Lizbeth is a great card. It's Bloom. All copies of Lizbeth gain the act ability. Choose any normal unit from drop, and then after you choose that unit, Lizbeth goes to the top of the deck. You pick up to 4 copies of that card. So remember, it says up to 4, so you don't actually need to put anything in deck aside from Lizbeth. You can pick a card, put Lizbeth in just to get the shuffle off, and not put anything in because you don't actually need to put in a card. And after you shuffle from Lizbeth's ability, draw a card. I like it because it lets me recycle cards easy, because if I do get an issue with control decks, like stuff gets retired, it lets me put stuff back into to the deck to be recalled. So I like it because of that. It also lets me recycle the PGs. So I search PGs with Ines, Lizbeth puts the PGs back, research them, and in this meta with Stride and all that, PGs are pretty helpful. So I like Lizbeth, she's a great card, she helps me recycle stuff, and the deck, if you know Neo Nectar, you know it makes amazing power plays. The numbers can get insane, so stand triggers really help relate to that. Next, I'm running 4 copies of Fairy Light Dragon, which is just a heal trigger. It's a heal trigger, gives you unflips effectively, G guards, 4. Next, I'm running 4 copies of the Flower Guard Maiden Mylis, which is the, what's it called? Heart Thump clone. So if you have a Ranunculus Vanguard and attacks, move it Mylis into the soul, give it 5k in a draw. It's a nice card. It's a nice clone target if I want the draw, but yeah, just it has a skill. And then 4 copies of Maiden of Dimorphotheca because it's just another critical, and there aren't really any crits with skills, so Dimorphotheca. Onto the G zone, I am running 4 copies of Dream Spinning Ranunculus Ahsha, including the 1 SP, who's an amazing card. It's act once per turn, flip over a copy of yourself in the G zone, pick a card. If you have 2 copies of that card, your front row gains 5k. And GB3, pick a rear guard, search your deck for a copy of that card, and that card gets 2k. So it's usually the first stride because the 5k is really easy to pull off, and it's a nice ability as well. The search ability is really nice on GB3, but yeah, it's a great card. I like it at 4. It works with Glorious Ahsha, which you'll see in a bit, so it's a great card. 4, definitely. I'm also running 2 copies, obviously, of Ranunculus and Glorious Bloom Ahsha, which is the cross stride for Ranunculus Dream Spinning Ahsha. Her ability is GB2, counter +1, soul +1. Choose a face down card in the G zone, any card, and flip it face up. Then you pick a rear guard, search your deck for a copy of it, and call it to rear. And then for each copy, face up copy of Dream Spinning Ahsha in the G zone, all copies of that card gain 5k. So if you use Dream Spinning Ahsha as your first and second stride, and so making Glorious your third, all called targets from her ability gain 20,000. As well, the rest of her ability is if you have a copy of this card on the rear guard, so basically if you have a copy of Ranunculus Flower Maiden Ahsha on the rear guard, so if you have a copy of it on van and rear, this card gains a critical. So that's also what makes Elmy really nice, is what you can do is if Ahsha's your Vanguard, stride into Glorious. Use Elmy's skill, move it in the soul, you pick a unit, so you pick the heart being regular Ahsha, then you search your deck for a copy of it, call it, and now when you use her ability, she's gaining the critical. So it's a really nice card. Glorious is my main finisher because it's really the one that makes the strongest power plays. So she's a great card. She's so strong. I like her at 2 just in case they're not done after the first one, but she's strong, she's nice, I love her. Next, I'm only running 3 copies of the Flower Princess of Perpetual Summer Verano. I really only find 3 to be necessary because if they're usually done by Glorious. I rarely ever go in her to begin with, but just in case, she's nice. If you don't know what she does, she's on stride, Soul Blast 1, pick a card from hand and a card from drop. It can be trigger or no, it's your call. Shuffle those 2 cards into the deck, flip over a face down G unit, another one, any G unit. Then what you do is you pick up to 2 cards from your hand and call them. You don't have to, but you can. And then for each copy of Verano in the G zone, you pick a rear guard and call it, and that unit called gets boost. So it's a really nice card. It lets me put stuff back in the deck also, and it lets me put it's the only card that can put triggers back in the deck, so you can re-trigger stuff like heals, which is really nice. It's a nice alternative stride if you just need to get some utility back. And I really only need her at 3 because first stride into her, flip over copy, call 1. Next I go into her, the third copy, flip over anything else like Seabreeze, call 2. She's really only needed at 3, but I like her. She's a nice card. I'm also running 1 copy of Flower Princess of Spring's Beginnings Primavera, which with Bloom is ridiculous. What she does is on attack, counterblast 3, discard 1, and choose 5 normal units or non-triggers from drop, shuffle them into the deck. Pick 2 rear guards, call up to 2 copies of those rear guards from your deck, and then shuffle. So this is great with Bloom because with cards you've seen like Katrina and Greenshot, you can trigger all of their power-ups in during the battle phase. So you get multiple attacks and they're just going to go up in higher power because you're just going to re-trigger their Bloom abilities. With her, thanks to Katrina and Thuria, I've hit 128,000 off 2 different rearguard attacks in 1 turn. So this thing can absolutely destroy hand. Primavera is a wonderful card, especially with Bloom, but she's a counterblast 3, so she's really only needed at 1 because it's kind of heavy cost. I'm also running one copy of Sacred Tree Dragon Multivitamin Dragon, which, like Primavera, is great with Bloom. What she does is when a card is called to rear, choose up to 4 copies of the called card that is not the called card, so other copies of it. Those cards gain 5k. So it's great with Bloom because with cards like Greenshot and Katrina, you can trigger their power-ups and go a stage further thanks to the 5k for Multivitamin. So Multivitamin is a really nice card. Again, only needed at 1 because other stuff can kind of do it better, but there are times when it gets the job done really well, so I do like to run it. Onto the G guards, we're going 2 copies of Sacred Tree Dragon Rain Breath Dragon, who's a great G guard. It's when you guard with it, choose up to 1 card from hand, call it to rear, and if you call it this way, it gains resist. And if you decide to call a card, it gains 5k. So what I like about this is it gives you a target for Ahsha's Stride skill, because sometimes I don't have a field because I use Ines's ability to kind of wipe my own field. So it gives me a target for Ahsha's ability. It gives me a different target if I have a better target in hand than one on my rear guard. It lets me trigger Bloom abilities on my opponent's turn, so if you call a green shot while you have a green shot, those green shots gain 2k. So it does all of that, and that simple thing, which is calling a card, is what gives it 5k. So Rainbow's is a great card. I love it. Then I'm running 2 copies of Dark Element Dismal. I'm running it at 2 because there are important rear guards I like to keep safe, and it's nice, and I don't really find much use for Screw. Honestly, I think for this deck, Dismal and Rain Breath at 2 each are better, but that's just me. I'm going to run the new G-Guard in set 8, because that's a really nice card, because it can get really defensive, but for now, just 2/2. And lastly, also running 1 copy of Air Element Seabreeze, which is your anti-grade 2 game / haha if you're grade locked card. So if you have a grade 3 and your opponent's at grade 2 and did not ride Counterblast 2, discard a card, you can stride it from face down. Just instant GB, gives you stride. It's a nice card. It's anti-grade block. I don't know why I need to explain this to you. So that's my Ahsha deck profile. This is the one that got me the clan leadership in Neo Nectar. Everyone else is inferior to me. Yeah, thank you for watching. I hope if you wanted to build Neo Nectar, you got inspired by this video. I hope if you have trouble building Neo Nectar, this deck gave you some ideas. I'm a clan leader. I know what I'm talking about. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for watching all of our videos. I'll be doing a Arboros deck profile when set 8 drops. I'll tell you specifically why, because I love Arboros when that comes around. I'll be doing a Maiden of deck profile, probably, assuming they get a card or 2, which I think they will. But yeah, keep it real. Thanks for watching.
Gabe Feldinger?
Yeah.
Great. Congratulations on becoming the clan leader for Neo Nectar.
I'd like to thank the Academy and everyone who made this possible. This is for you, me. Look upon this with fondness. Nice.
Are you done?
Yeah, we're good.